Episode 33 is a clip show. Although, to be fair, it does introduce Torame, a villain who is another one. He's another Kitoralsus agent. I am not going to pronounce that right ever, and I have accepted that. Okay, episode 34. There are 3 new Shinkalion units developed at the Kyoto branch. 3 drivers are in the works, but there's a problem. Time to ship these two being Hayato and Futaba, to Kyoto. Again, if you think Hayato is sick of seeing Kyoto, think again. He always has more train-related trivia in order to go justify his excitement. Since when does Hayato get sick? Okay, besides Miku's debut episode. Okay, so in Kyoto we learn what the problem is. 3 Shinkalion drivers that were being trained there ended up quitting. Well, that's a problem. 2 of the candidates are twins, 1 is a year older than them. You can see where the battle of egos is starting to come into play. The idea is that they're just going to have Hayato manage this conflict. Which makes sense, Hayato did manage to get Tsurunuki and Akita to get the hell along. They go hunt down one of them. His name is Takatora Kirishima. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds like a My Hero Academia joke I should be making. To that I say, I'm not making a My Hero Academia joke right now. Why? Because we just got out of a crossover with Evangelion. I'm going to make a Mana Kirishima reference. What? Who is this character? Go look her up. Basically, Kirishima went sightseeing, so they're hunting him down. Maybe these 2 should have actually asked for hobbies, or at least looked at his profile first before they started running all over Kyoto, because there's a lot of things you can do in Kyoto. For example, Akita it's not a flashback, it's more like an imagination spot, where Akita would rather look at historic guns, whereas another imagination spot has Tsurunuki look at the topography of the entire Kyoto area. Thankfully, Takatora is making a scene at a knife shop. Why is he making a scene at a cutlery shop again? It's because he wants to be a chef. So, you can't exactly just randomly buy knives as a kid. You just can't. Takatora is being a brat and continues to make a scene. Thankfully, Futaba and Hayato drag his butt away. So apparently confidentiality is out the door because they're just casually talking about the director's boy and the Shinkalions just out in public. I know they've done this before, but still. Now for some knife trivia. This is a vegetable cutting knife, this is a meat cutting knife, then there's a bunch of specialized fish cutting knives. Yeah, this kid knows his stuff. What good is a Shinkalion debut episode if you don't get a million trivia points on whatever these kids are into? Okay, monster time. The villains have turned a bridge into their weapon of choice. Hayato is getting his butt handed to him while both of the twins, and Takatora watch on screen. It's really too big for Hayato to beat from the outside, and he can't get inside because the E5 won't fit in the inside of this monster. Okay, time for these 3 to get off their butts and get into the robots. After getting their butts handed to them again, Hayato tells them, okay, follow my lead, I'm going to draw its fire, you sneak in and start blasting limbs off. And what do you know? They start blasting an arm and kneecapping it to death, before finally just smashing it to bits. 1 Michael Bay explosion later, we're done with this episode. So, the clip show you sort of know my opinion on already. It really is just a clip show. But let's talk about episode 34. I'm aware that the twins are going to get some focus in episode 35, but even under those circumstances, I'm kind of a bit annoyed that they decide to use the single character debut formula that they've been using all this time, and we just get a readout of their hobbies and somehow relating them to trains and rails, then we're going to get back to normal. Because we're like over 30 episodes in. I get that this was kinda cut short as a series, but even under those circumstances, I think even 30 episodes in, you're starting to lose the novelty of the whole debut and getting a new Shinkansen. I get this is a toyetic show, but I would really like for all the characters to actually interact with each other, and we're already at a large cast enough as is. I mean, when was the last time we saw Miku? Ray, you were seeing him next episode, he doesn't count. So we basically have the core Hayato, Tsurunuki, and Akita, and then Shinobu is sort of their sixth ranger, even though he's the fourth. Meanwhile, we haven't seen Ryuji in a while, and Ryuji's brother isn't going to debut as driver for a while. Now we're just adding more people. Okay, we're a bit much right now if we're not being honest with ourselves. If we're totally being honest with ourselves, what am I saying? But those are just my thoughts. Please consider liking, subscribing, tipping the channel on Ko-fi. This is Cyril signing off.